Several years ago, I attended the first Bowie instructor seminar held by Comtech, James Keating, and there were a number of blade aficionados there, or blade Bowie enthusiasts, and at that seminar I gave a dissertation or a presentation, totally extemporaneous, on the point geometry and why of the Bowie knife and why it works so incredibly well. We have reviewed that, and we liked the way it flowed, and it was off the cuff, but it stands alone, I think, as a very good presentation of why the Bowie knife works in the fighting mode and with the back cut. I want to revisit a little of that material now. However, we have included that whole segment in this tape because it's vintage Bagwell, but it's good stuff. I mean, it is really good stuff. But I want to amplify on a couple of things that we've been talking about, and I want to show you why the point of the Bowie works so well. Another thing I want to point out is something that Mike just stated about the carry and the sheaths, because right now I'm carrying a 12-inch Bowie knife, totally concealed. But the thing about the Bowie, the point of the Bowie, here is your primary edge. And you see how the point is off of my hand. This is the primary edge. The reason we favor the back cut so much is that when you turn it over, the clip point becomes a leading point, and it concentrates all the force right there on that little point. Now, this is a leading point. This is a trailing point. No matter which way you hit with a dagger, it is always a trailing point. Let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that we've got 40 pounds of downward pressure. And if you hit with the primary edge and it engages for a length of, say, 4 inches, you have diluted that force from 40 pounds to 10 pounds per linear inch. But the point, remember, we properly sharpened a Bowie, and the point is sharpened around the point, so it's razor sharp all the way around a point that has about a 15,000th of an inch radius. When you hit with that leading point, you have a concentration of that 40 pounds of pressure in an area of 15 thousandths, and it hugely, greatly, exponentially magnifies the force that is being delivered by the knife. It is the exact opposite of the principle that makes snowshoes work. Now let me really illustrate this. I have a balloon. We're going to inflate the balloon. Now, believe me, this is a sharp knife. It just wipes hair. I mean, it's just kind of hot in here and I'm sweating, but there goes the hair. When I take that same razor edge and put it on the balloon at the same point that I shaved hair, and I depress that, you see how that balloon is giving? And it does not pop the balloon. That shaves hair. There is the hair on the balloon. It does not pop the balloon. But the instant I turn this thing over and touch the balloon with the leading point, the balloon is gone. It's the concentration of force that causes that point to go home on a back cut. And here is a back cut. That's all it is. It's a little wrist roll. There's a number one, here's a thrust, a number one back cut, and a number two back cut. This is 3 cuts. 1, 2, 3. And here's what it looks like coming at you. You've been cut fatally 3 times. Just that quick. That is 3 fatal cuts. And it works just as well with the left hand as it does the right. 1, 2, 3. Either hand. If you will practice and you will train, you will get to where you can do it with either hand. And then, back inside the belt, inside the waistband, shirt over the top, you've got 12 inches of steel. And that knife, that's the same knife that makes the heavy cuts. It's the same knife that makes the finesse cuts. And it's just a tremendous tool and weapon. It has actually defined me, certainly professionally, if not personally, for the last 38 years of my life, because that's how long I've been making Bagwell knives at this point. And this is November of 2005 is what it is. Resources for those that are interested in Bowie knives. This is not a shameless commercial. It's a commercial, but I'm not ashamed to make it. The book, Bowie's, Big Knives, and the Best of Battle Blades. I wrote this a number of years ago. And it has information in it. Historical information, practical information. It has information on tests that I made when I was writing the column Battle Blade for Soldier of Fortune. It has all of those columns in it. And it gives you a good look at why a Bowie knife is superior to the other knives of the world, and also discusses and exposes the weaknesses of many of the world's other knives. But Bowie's, Big Knives, and the Best of Battle Blades is highly recommended. You can get it, there are several places that you can get it. You can get it directly from me. But we're going to have a resource list on this to show where you can get the materials. Another resource that I recommend highly, I cannot recommend this highly enough, is James Keating at Comtech. Comtech has the training. These are the guys that defined the back cut. And I highly recommend, heartily recommend, 2 of Comtech's tapes. One of them is Bowie Basics. The other is the Deadly Back Cut. And I think I've told people over the years that if you can only have one, get the Deadly Back Cut. But if you need to go and study with Comtech, but if you can't do that, and even if you can do that, you need to get these tapes. Another source that I recommend is sheaths, obviously. River City Sheaths, Mike Sastry. And if you want the sheath that makes one of these things go away and disappear in public, Mike is, and River City Sheaths are really the place to go. And Pete Couts is another outstanding source for information and training. But we will have a sort of a table of contents for recommendations at the end of this tape. But I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for taking a visit to the Bagwell shop. And we hope to see you down the road. Have a good one.